was a key recommendation in a 2009 survey and report by the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission.
I decided to take the initiative of organizing the neighborhood when I came upon the report because I saw that it was done in 2009 and it's been floating around since 2009, but their leadership hasn't been taken. And another thing is that when the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission came to this part of town and they surveyed the area, they did host community meetings. However, I thought that if I got something going, I have an advantage because I'm a resident myself. I'm not an outsider.
Mercado called organizing a neighborhood association a first step to, quote, implement a solution, end quote, to quality of life issues in the acre. More details can be found at whav.net. 3 Haverhill men are due to appear in district court after their arrest by police early Saturday in connection with a disturbance at an establishment in the Washington Street Historic District. According to Haverhill Police, Akeem Bedward, 26, of 72 Belvedere Road, Haverhill, Thomas Gilchrist, 29, of 51 Pilling Street, Unit 2, Haverhill, and Caletho Dezer, 25, of 440 North Avenue, Unit 272, Haverhill, were arrested at 1:42 a.m. Saturday at the Tap Brew Pub and Restaurant, 100 Washington Street. Each is charged with a single count of disorderly conduct. Police report the charge against Gilchrist as a subsequent offense. A Haverhill senior is due in court after his arrest Saturday on a warrant for fireworks and motor vehicle charges. Haverhill Police report Benjamin Roderick, 74, of 65 River Street, Unit 2L, Haverhill, was taken into custody at 5:20 p.m. Saturday at 75 Portland Street. Under the warrant, he is charged with possession of fireworks, unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle, failure to signal, and a number plate violation. In other police news, a Haverhill man was arrested on a warrant early Saturday at the Holy Family Hospital at Merrimack Valley, 140 Lincoln Avenue, Haverhill. According to Haverhill Police, John Fosher, 65, of 37 Woodcock Avenue, Unit 22, Haverhill, was taken into custody at 3:55 a.m. Saturday on a warrant charging him with resisting arrest. Massachusetts State Police made 2 arrests and seized 24.5 grams of heroin, a pistol, and $22,000 cash Friday during a routine traffic stop in Haverhill. Joseph A. Roberts, 23, of Middleton, New Hampshire, and Michael R. Griffin, 23, of Dover, New Hampshire, were arrested after Trooper Patrick McCrave stopped a Chrysler 300 on Interstate 495 southbound for a motor vehicle violation at about 5:30 p.m. Griffin, a passenger, was found to be in illegal unlicensed possession of a Taurus 9mm pistol and 24.5 grams of heroin. He was charged with possession of a firearm without a firearm identification card and trafficking in heroin, morphine, opium. He's being held on $250,000 bail pending his arraignment in Haverhill District Court. Roberts was charged with speeding, driving a motor vehicle after license suspension or revocation. He was released on personal recognizance pending his arraignment in Haverhill District Court. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and it's always free. In the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom, this is Dana Esmel.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Rebecca Foster. Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras is urging voters to reject a proposal by creditors on the country's debt in an upcoming referendum, but says he still wants Greece to stay in the Eurozone. But other EU leaders say a no vote would mean leaving the euro. The proposed referendum comes after Greece and its creditors failed to reach a deal on the country's debt, causing banks to shut down. The crisis has sent Greece's stock market into a fall, and amid growing fears that Greece is destined to leave the Eurozone, there's been strong demand on Wall Street for U.S. Treasury bonds. As Simon Marks reports from New York, many American traders are now deeply worried about the prospects of European economic instability.
With Greek banks closed and European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker saying he feels betrayed by the country's government, the New York Times tells its readers on Monday that it's now time for the United States to start taking the crisis seriously. Investors are piling into US government bonds, seeing them as a safe haven in a time of European uncertainty. One bond trader called it a flight to quality.
The White House says talks in Vienna over the Iran nuclear deal are likely to extend beyond the Tuesday deadline. The U.S., UK, France, Russia, China, and Germany are entering the final stage for a nuclear agreement with Tehran. World powers want a deal that will restrict Iran's nuclear activity, while the Islamic Republic is hoping crippling Western sanctions will be lifted. From Washington, Kevin McAleese reports.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry remains in Austria, with his Iranian counterpart expected to rejoin the table on deadline day. Back in the U.S., there are some in Congress concerned that concessions are creeping into proceedings, such as the inspection of military sites where and when UN inspectors request it. Last week, a group of former Obama administration advisers questioned whether the deal in its current form was good enough. Deadlines have been missed before. The framework deal, struck back in April, came a few days late, so talks running past June 30th won't necessarily signal the end of the pursuit of an historic accord.
The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that a drug used to execute prisoners is legal under the Constitution. 3 prisoners on death row in Oklahoma argued the drug constituted cruel and unusual punishment. But as John Clark reports, the court narrowly upheld the right of the state to use it.
America's use of the death penalty is controversial, and the Supreme Court decision reflected that division. In a narrow 5-4 ruling, it decided Oklahoma is allowed to use the sedative midazolam as part of a cocktail of execution drugs. Opponents claim midazolam doesn't create a deep enough coma to ensure prisoners don't feel pain when other lethal drugs are injected, but the majority of justices were satisfied it was powerful enough for the job.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Wave weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Gary Best with wave weather. It'll become partly cloudy to clear across the Merrimack Valley through the night. Low temperature upper 50s. During the day on Tuesday, mostly to partly sunny, a much nicer day. High temperature 75 to 80. Could be a stray shower Tuesday night. Low 60s then. And a shower or thunderstorm at times on Wednesday with occasional sun. High temperature 75 to 80. This is Gary Best. Your next wave weather is coming up in 30 minutes.
If you want to know what's going on at WHAV, sign up for the free monthly Wavelength newsletter online at whav.net.
Catch the wave. WHAV. Merrimack Valley. Open mic.
From the Edwin B. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco at whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show. Just a word of warning to myself. I said I don't believe in jinxes, and I think the sound promptly went out during the last hour, so I still don't, well, I'm not going to say, but we'll see what happens. This hour of Open Mic being brought to you by Haverhill Bank. Just one bank. Okay, joining me now is Ann Jones of the Greater Haverhill Art Association, and we were catching up during the break on some of the people we know in common and how we all got to these places. But let's talk to the listeners briefly before we take community spotlight break. You're having a first-of-a-kind event, I'm going to call it that. The Arts Association is having what?
We are celebrating Haverhill at 375 years by arranging, in collaboration with the Whittier's Birthplace, an event, a weekend event, the weekend after this coming one, after the weekend of the 4th. We're going to be hosting an exhibit in the Antique Barn for the first time. And we're going to invite plein air artists to be painting on the grounds up in the orchard, the homestead farmhouse, the paddocks, the leas. All of the grounds are going to be available to the artists to be painting.
Perfect time of year for it, 70 acres too.
Yes, and beautiful property, beautiful. A lot of us have painted there before anyway, but this is...
Did you participate in the wet paint contest some years ago?
I didn't. I wasn't on the scene at that time.
Well,
but that was the prompt, I think.
Just as an aside, we had a very successful one I think 2007 or 6. I can't remember if we skipped a year. And then 2008, timing being what it was, we scheduled it, because we did not know we were scheduling it a day after the giant stock market crash. So people were a little reluctant. I mean, it was such a bad crash with Lehman Brothers going into bankruptcy. The people were somewhat reluctant to buy paintings, not sure if their dollar was even going to be worth anything. So our timing couldn't have been worse. Speaking of jinxes,
I was just going to say, are you going to be jinxing us?
Usually, if it's usually something that you can think of, that is the thing that won't happen. But in any event, all right. So this is part of the 375th anniversary of Haverhill.
Yes, we were asked by the Board of Trustees, several members who showed us around the barn, and talked with us about the possible plans, the way the event could unfold, and we realized that it was the 375th anniversary of this city, and that we should probably incorporate that into the occasion. So we're calling it Celebrating Haverhill, Art at Whittier's Barn. And it's going to be open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 10th, 11th, and 12th, 11 to 4, all 3 days. The caretaker Gus has very graciously opened up early for us on Sunday so we could be consistent with our times. Artists may be on the grounds painting at any given moment. You can't really herd artists, so we will see who shows up when. There may be 5 at one time, and then no one for an hour or two. I have no idea.
Maybe. Actually, folks, now, just to make sure it's clear, John Greenleaf Whittier birthplace, in case you haven't been there, shame on you, John Greenleaf Whittier birthplace at 305 Whittier Road in Haverhill. That's off Route 110 on your way toward east, toward Merrimack. It is east, right?
Yes.
East, toward Merrimack. So there is a reception Saturday, July 11th from 2 to 4, but the events actually begin July 10th and run 10th, 11th, and 12th from 11 to 4 at Whittier Birthplace. And if you haven't met Gus Rouge, you should wait till you see him when he portrays Whittier. Did you ever see him in Snowbound? When he grows a beard, the spitting image. We have to take a brief break for Community Spotlight. We'll be back with Ann Jones from the Greater Haverhill Art Association to discuss her role in the organization, a little bit, if she can, about the history of the organization, and then the finale about this great event celebrating Haverhill art in Whittier's Barn. We'll be right back.
Open mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
This is Phil Christie. Would you like to hear the wave on your stereo, or even better, anywhere in your home? Check out the tips for better sound at www.whav.net.
Community Spotlight is brought to you by Haverhill Bank. Haverhill Bank is a generous supporter of the area's civic and cultural programs.
That's all it takes is just one bank. Haverhill Bank. Community Spotlight.
The Haverhill Farmers Market begins its 37th season Saturday, June 27th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the parking lot next to the Haverhill Police Station. There will be farm fresh fruits and vegetables, baked goods, meats, local wines, artisan cheeses, fresh breads, handmade soaps, and doggy treats. There will also be live music, food demonstrations, and kids' activities each Saturday. For more information, visit teamhaverhill.org. Someone you know is on WHAV. To submit or read your own nonprofit announcements, click on the Contact tab at whav.net or email news@whav.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom, this is Maddie Karen.
From the Edwin B. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents The Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show. This hour being brought to you by Haverhill Bank, just one bank. Let's continue our conversation now with Ann Jones from the, I want to make a little correction here. It's the Greater Haverhill Arts with an S Association, but its website is Haverhill Arts Singular Association.org. So thus the confusion. But I think if you Google it, you won't have any trouble either way. But the Greater Haverhill Arts Association. Now, just during the break, we were talking about this is a pretty big event to put on. Do you have some help paying for it?
We don't at this point. We're mostly volunteer. We're all volunteers, I should say, not mostly. We're all volunteers. And
I was thinking more like corporate sponsors.
I
of
see.
sorts.
No, we haven't. We haven't really sought out any for this particular event, but we do have sponsors from the community that we couldn't do this or anything else that we managed to accomplish without our sponsors.
Okay. So
The Haverhill Cultural Council helped us present a student show at Buttonwoods in May. And Pentucket Bank is a big sponsor of ours. Noonan's Florist and Greenhouse. And Finbury and Sullivan, PC.
Okay.
Jones Art
Law
Gallery.
firm. Okay.
Bernard Closey, Flowers by Steve, Holland Flower Shops, The Inside View, 92.5 The River, can I say that?
That's all right.
And Art
They're
Supply.
in our old building.
And Art Supplies Wholesale. These organizations have helped us have a great year so far.
Oh, that's wonderful news. Over the years, I've had some familiarity with the Haverhill Arts Association. Bob Kowalski, formerly with the Haverhill Gazette, he and I worked there. I don't know where the time goes. That's more than 30 years ago, folks. Bob Kowalski was a police reporter and courthouse reporter, and it's always been a pleasure to work with him, and he doesn't live too far from me as well. But there's a new generation emerging. Tell us how you got involved.
Well, it began in '71 with Bob Kowalski and similar-minded artists, and it flourished for many, many years, long before I came on the scene. I think I became involved rather tentatively about 15 years ago. I hadn't been painting that long myself. I've been painting about 20 years.
So you're a painter?
I am.
Okay.
And I was also working full-time, so I was a Sunday painter for so many years.
Oh, okay.
But once I retired,
understand that.
became more involved.
I'm a Monday radio show host.
Ah, yes.
We're a
there's
nonprofit as well, funded also
Yes.
with some help from the Haverhill Cultural
Well,
Council.
there, we have a great deal in common, Tim.
You mean we beg a lot?
Yes, right. And volunteer to do everything, right?
That's right. That's right.
Right, empty the rubbish, whatever it takes.
I got to that this week. Okay,
did.
yes, okay. All right.
So when I got involved, the association had really gone into kind of a slump. There weren't a lot of volunteers. There were, and a lot of the activities, the events that they had planned and consistently carried out over the years had been, for example, the art festival on Bradford Common. There was a hurricane that blew off the coast one year, and they had to cancel. And then for the next
Jinx.
2 years,
Okay.
for the next 2 years, construction was going on, and we couldn't hold
Oh,
it
of course.
then.
That's right. They ripped up the whole thing.
But now it looks nice, and we resumed the art festival last year. We were very happy to have that back, and we're ready to do it again this year and hereafter.
Oh, actually, well, why don't we just do a little sneak preview? When might we see some activity there?
It will be September 12th, Saturday, 10 to 4. It's traditionally that kind of time frame, and the second
I'm going to
weekend.
ask you to put WHAV on your mailing or emailing list, and we'll make sure that that gets mentioned on our Community Spotlight program.
More than happy to do that.
This will also be mentioned.
Lovely.
All right. So, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. But we had, then the president was Don Herrick, and he'd been president for a number of years, mostly because no one else would step up and take the office.
Now, Don, I know him. See, I guess everybody knows someone in a different way. But when I've helped out at community meals, he's
Yes.
always there.
Yes.
Working, volunteering.
He's been a volunteer for a long time there. Very, very valuable community citizen. He also has the Artist Cafe and the Sage Gallery on Washington Street. Anyway, he sent out an all-call. He said, are we going to let this fold, or are we going to do something about it? And invited anybody who was interested in keeping it going to show up at his cafe, which there were about a dozen of us. And since then, we formed this really sound body of board of directors. We have very active and very dedicated volunteers. This is totally volunteer run, and we couldn't do it without all of these people giving their time and expertise and know-how. And so we began about 2 years ago pulling it back together again, and I think it's going to be better than ever. Membership had dropped way off, and we now are close to 100 members, artist members.
Very, very good job.
And we have formed a beautiful relationship with Buttonwoods, holding our demos there, 5 a year. And
I'm sorry, what is a demo?
a demo is a demo is a presentation, an instructional presentation by a professional artist and we try to vary the medium that is being presented.
So it might be a form of painting, and it might be a sculpture or some
Right.
genre or something.
That's right.
Okay.
And we have one thing that never did leave, though, was the Saturday workshops at the First Church of Christ in Bradford, again, next to the Common. In the hall behind the church, every second and fourth Saturday, for as long as anybody can remember, there have been art workshops, and they're very well attended. There could be 20 to 40, maybe even more at times, artists there working with a portrait model sitting for you, if you chose to do that, or a still life that is created. And Mark Hayden, who's well known in this community,
Very well known.
is the instructor who assists people with portraiture, and Joan Rademacher, also another well-known artist in the area, assists with watercolors.
I have trouble with a legible signature. Could I be helped by a class? No, you have to have talent first.
Try calligraphy. I think that would be the way to go.
All right. So is all of this information on the website?
Yes, it is.
All right. So Haverhill Art Singular Association,
Arts.
one word.
Oh, for the
Nope,
website,
for this
right,
one.
yes.
HaverhillArtAssociation.org, the website, the group, the Greater Haverhill Arts Association. As president of the trustees at John Greenleaf Whittier Birthplace, I'm very pleased that this will be the first time we've been able to use the farm, the barn, at the farm for such an event. It is very large space, and it's unfinished, so maybe that just adds to the appeal.
Yes, I think so.
All right, and I don't know what we're doing. I think we have cows coming by then, but they'll be outside.
Yes, heifers, we were told.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
What was the appeal of the Whittier property to the Arts Association?
Well, that barn is gorgeous. It really is beautiful. And it's a space that just begs to be filled with art. Not that we're always looking for places to hang our art anyway, but that particular place, we just loved it the moment we saw it. Myself and the secretary, Tina Fazio, had gone to visit the place and look it over with the trustees, and we ended up very excited about the whole prospect. And I think it's going to be an event that may well happen again in the future.
Your poster features the barn, and I'm going to ask Chris to put it on the TV screen for everyone. There it is. So you may not be able to read that on your television sets, although I guess you can. I guess you can. But just to kind of summarize then, the Greater Haverhill Arts Association is celebrating Haverhill. It's part of Haverhill's 375th anniversary celebration, Art in Whittier's Barn. When is it again?
July 10, 11, and 12. From 11 to 4 daily, and there'll be a reception, a public reception. Everybody's welcome. Please come. From 2 to 4 on the Saturday.
All right, more information at Haverhill Art Association, one word, .org. Well, really enjoyed having you on the program. I would love to have you back. I'd like to know more over time about the workshops and about the festivals. And, all of us nonprofits have to stick together.
Don't we?
We do. And we can help with some publicity. Just
Great.
don't let me near any art supplies, and we'll be fine. We'll see how it goes. And then, but also keep us in the loop, and we'll make sure we have announcements on from time to time. Folks, this will also be appearing in our Community Spotlight rotation, possibly as early as tomorrow. That'll give us a little bit of time while it runs. I know we're all going to be somewhat forgetful after the 4th of July, but the weekend after. Right?
That's right.
July 10th, 11th, and 12th. Celebrating Haverhill Art in Whittier's Barn.
Yes.
Any other thoughts to leave our listeners on?
No, just we hope for good weather. That would be nice. If you can help us with that, we'd be very grateful.
Not sure I can help with that, but there is a roof on the barn.
There is. It looks pretty tight, I'm glad to say.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. Very
I
nice
appreciate
for you to have me. Thank you.
Thank you. No, hold on. All right, so Chris, let's go to local weather, and we'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show after that.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 7:35.
This is listener-supported community radio, WHAV. WHAV is the Merrimack Valley's Pacifica affiliate.
Catch the wave!
On the next, Making Contact.
First of all, for the majority of us, there is no tape. There is no tape. We just, die. That's it.
When journalist Ta-Nehisi Coates set out to write about police killings, he went to visit Mabel Jones. Back in 2000, Jones' son, a friend of Coates from their time at Howard University, was shot and killed by police in Virginia. He was 25 years old.
The second thing is to remember that, when you have these folks die, that they had families, that they were people, that they were really, really full functioning humans. And the taking of that life is just such a huge crime, I would go so far as to say.
Written in the form of a letter to his own teenage son, Coates' book, Between the World and Me, puts police shootings in a wider context.
Making Contact is heard every Wednesday night at 6:30. Remember, only local radio can bring you such compelling features, but only WHAV does.
Wave weather!
I'm WHAV meteorologist Gary Best with wave weather. It'll become partly cloudy to clear across the Merrimack Valley through the night. Low temperature upper 50s. During the day on Tuesday, mostly to partly sunny, a much nicer day. High temperature 75 to 80. Could be a stray shower Tuesday night. Low 60s then. And a shower or thunderstorm at times on Wednesday with occasional sun. High temperature 75 to 80. This is Gary Best. Your next wave weather is coming up in 30 minutes.
Your soft gold favorites. WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin B. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show, 50-year staple of democracy in the Merrimack Valley. What a treat to have Ann Jones on, and a really big treat that the Greater Haverhill Arts Association is going to have its event at the John Greenleaf Whittier Birthplace Barn, 305 Whittier Road, celebrating Haverhill art in Whittier's Barn. This will be the weekend after the 4th, July 10th, 11th, and 12th, 11 to 4 p.m., Whittier's Birthplace. All right, this hour of Open Mic being brought to you by the Merrimack Valley Economic Development Council. Smart companies choose the Merrimack Valley. And I think Chris will show you a logo from the Merrimack Valley Economic Development Council. I'm very, very pleased the council has renewed its sponsorship for the next year. So thank you very much to President David Tibbetts and the board of Merrimack Valley Economic Development Council. All right, now we are in the open lines portion of the program, and we'll try to squeeze in callers, but I want to first remind you that this is the last week of July birthdays and anniversaries. So you have, and don't wait till the last minute, you have until 8:15 to wish someone a happy birthday or a couple a happy anniversary, and their name will be placed into the hat for a drawing for a free 7-inch cake from LBD's Second Generation Italian Bakery, 140 South Main Street in Haverhill. Now, these are the most delicious cakes you've ever had. Choice of vanilla or chocolate. It comes with sugar frosting, and they're absolutely free to the winner of the monthly contest. Next week, we'll start looking at August birthdays and anniversaries, so go through your calendars and date books and find someone there. We have only 3 entries so far, so the odds of winning are much better than that of the lottery, so keep that in mind. Open lines, 978-374-1900. To help maybe prod you along with conversation, WHAV News Today, you may have heard it on the news or you may hear it in the next hour, is talking about Haverhill City Council meeting tomorrow night. The council is on its summer schedule, so it's not every week. But water and wastewater, or some people call it sewer, water and sewer bills are on the council agenda. I said a little bit earlier in the program that when I was first a newspaper reporter, and actually before that, news reporter at WHAV from 1978 on, then I went to the Haverhill Gazette when it was a daily, and frankly, it was routine that water and sewer came up at the same time as the rest of the city budget, which includes, everything else, school department, city hall, and so on. I don't know when, maybe someone out there knows, when water and sewer was kind of removed from the totals. I know they've always billed separately. I also do know that the taxpayers used to subsidize water and sewer a bit, paying the capital cost of new pipelines and so on, and that helped to keep the water and sewer bills low. Again, that changed too. Maybe it was after Proposition 2.5, the tax limiting law in Massachusetts, and so there was no limiting law on water and sewer bills, so maybe everything went over there. But I will say that water and wastewater, let's see, $8.1 million budget for water, wastewater budget, another $9.4 million. But what's misleading is that for some reason they're kept separate from the full city budget, and when you add them all up, we're talking about a city budget that's $193.6 million. I mean, we're really coming up on a $200 million budget. I think that does raise some eyebrows. This is not a rich community. Neither really are many others in the Merrimack Valley. It's a little bit of a struggle for people not only to have a tax increase on their properties, but also a water bill increase and a sewer bill increase, and nothing else is going down either. I know that, but if you're trying to buy your prescription medicines and you're maybe paying, even if your taxes come out of your mortgage, you may have received an escrow statement saying that you're going to have to put a little bit more money in there, or your mortgage bill, your monthly bill, will go up to cover this. Now, I think compared to southern New Hampshire, maybe even compared to other cities and towns in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, total rates are very reasonable. I guess if you lived in the MWRA districts, paying for the Quabbin water, you might be paying a lot more. But still, these are relatively poor communities. So do you have a thought on that? A city this size with an almost $200 million budget. For comparison, not that long ago, when the city owned a very large, almost 300-bed hospital, the city budget, including the hospital, the water and wastewater, was $150 million. Maybe it's something you want to talk about. 978-374-1900. Okay, so water rates. Think about this. $2.78 per 100 cubic feet for water, $4.12 per 100 cubic feet of wastewater or sewer. That's, up pennies, but I think pennies add up. That this year water was $2.71, so we're talking about 7 cents. $3.90 for wastewater, at least according to the information in the City Council agenda package. Those rates haven't gone up in 2 years, but nevertheless, I don't know how many paychecks have gone up very much, if at all, in that time. Maybe you have a thought on that. There are some big expenses coming. We all know that water and sewer has some challenges. Haverhill has a very good water supply, but it does need, from time to time, treatment. And so I guess $388,000 will be coming from a transfer from where, I don't know, to pay for new water carbon filters. So that's a cost. And we've all heard about the Environmental Protection Agency and their concerns about water runoff from streets being unnecessarily treated at the water treatment plant, the sewer treatment plant, because that's really just runoff from roads, and assuming there's no other contamination, it doesn't belong in the treatment plant, so we may be breaking out much of our combined sewer systems. I realize all of that costs money, but I also realize that many of you have trouble paying your existing bills and maybe not even caught up on existing bills. And, maybe that's another thought that maybe help us with this conversation. We have to take a break in a second. But, all right, maybe you don't really have a problem with taxes going up, property taxes going up, or water bills going up, or your sewer bill going up. Perhaps maybe you have well water and you have a septic system, although those can be pretty big expenses too when those come up. Maybe you want to comment on that. But do you remember not so long ago, and maybe some of you who are newer or younger don't know this, but it used to be that if you did get behind on your city bills, whether it was your property tax or your excise tax, the city would send that outside to what we would call a collection service. But that wasn't so terrible. You had to go downtown to Washington Square, and a nice gentleman down there, it was a private business, but he was dubbed deputy tax collector, and he was very friendly and he could work it out, and it was local. Now, if you get a little behind, some outfit in Medford or someplace like that, well, you can't even go there, generally speaking, to pay the bill. And I really just wonder what the city was thinking. People are having a tough time paying the bills. Now we're going to make it even tougher. You got to go find this company, somewhere near Boston to pay your late bills, or maybe come up with, maybe you could send them a check. But another incident I noted over the years in Haverhill, they have some really odd policies that if you just happen to have been caught just once, perhaps you thought you had made a deposit or something happened at the bank, well, you were prohibited, or at least have been prohibited for a year from using a check. So drive to Medford and pay your bills. Maybe you have a thought on that. 978-374-1900. Let's take a brief break. This hour, we're going to hear about a upcoming movie from our feature, Take Two Movie Reviews. We'll be back with more of the Open Mic.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
This is Phil Christie. Listen to The Wave with fewer interruptions, no pop-ups, and a choice of players by tuning directly from www.whav.net.
Smart companies choose the Merrimack Valley. They're attracted by the region's technology and innovation, housing and education, workforce, arts, culture, and recreation, and convenient location and easy access. Learn more and look at profiles of all 24 cities and towns at the Merrimack Valley Economic Development Council website at merrimackvalley.info.
Catch the wave!
Hi, I'm meteorologist Gary Best. Do you need to know if it's going to be hot or cold, wet or dry? Well, find out every half hour, 7 days a week with Wave Weather. I'll keep you in touch with up-to-the-minute reports covering the greater Merrimack Valley and beyond. It's WHAV for accurate weather when you want it.
This is Take Two Movie Review. I'm Kim Lowe. This week, suspend your disbelief before entering this world. It's been 22 years since the first Jurassic Park, yet it remains the standard for dinosaur movies. While the special effects have been enhanced, there remains the bothersome premise that having huge carnivorous dinosaurs in an amusement park would be a good idea. Those same questions remain, but on a much larger scale when watching Jurassic World. The park is back and under new management, complete with flesh-eating dinosaurs. Special effects aside, the movie can be seen as a postmodern spoof on the role of corporate sponsorship, as well as a cautionary tale against GMOs. The park is a business venture with chains like Starbucks. The dinosaurs are sponsored by various corporations and are viewed more as products than animals. Corporate pressure means the dinosaurs have to be even bigger and scarier than they were before, in the words of lead scientist Henry Wu, with more teeth. They get their wish in the form of the genetically engineered Indominus Rex. Next to her, the original Jurassic Park T-Rex doesn't look nearly so scary. And if you're asking what could possibly go wrong with having such an animal in a park full of tourists, rest assured that your question will be answered. While the CGI dinosaurs are the main stars of the show, the human actors do a good job with the material they are given. In particular, Chris Pratt shines as the raptor trainer, who recognizes that these products are actually animals complete with animal instincts. Likewise, Bryce Dallas Howard does a good job embodying the uptight operations manager. And it's nice to see B.D. Wong, the only actor from the first movie, reprise his role as scientist Henry Wu here in Jurassic World. This has been Take Two Movie Review. I'm Kim Lowe. Catch up with us at Take2MovieReview.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Take2_Review.
Catch the wave, WHAV. Open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents The Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show. This hour being brought to you by the Merrimack Valley Economic Development Council. Smart companies. Choose the Merrimack Valley. Okay, looking for your calls. I know it suddenly is a very nice day out there. There was just a couple drops of rain a couple of hours ago. Maybe some of you saw that or felt that. So I can understand maybe you're out on the deck, cooking a hamburger or something. But, get back in the house. Call the Open Mic Show, 978-374-1900. Typically, summers are a bit slower on the Open Mic Show, but I also find that a lot of people are just a little shy. So don't be shy. Call the Open Mic Show. If you are shy, however, and I will check this, you can email me directly. You can't win any prizes this way, but you can send me a note to be read on the air, or paraphrased, as the case may be. You can email me directly at tcoco, Tcoco, at whav.net. There's also a message board below the TV screen at whav.tv. You can sign in with all kinds of things, whether it's Facebook or what have you. And so you don't even have to create an account, although you may. Let's take a second while we're waiting for you to queue up those calls. Possible topics again: city water and sewer bills going to go up, tax bills are going to go up, and for some reason the city now presents this to us piecemeal. We don't see the total budget, which is pretty close to $200 million a year for the city now. But it's not that I don't believe in taxes. I believe we need to pay for our streets. We need to make sure we have police, especially with the crime and drug problems we've noticed lately. We do need those services. We do need the fire department. We certainly, probably all of our problems are solved if we fund the schools properly so that the students grow up to be civic-minded and give back to their community. So I'm not against taxes, and I certainly want clean water. And I want to make sure that our sewer treatment plant is operating properly so that we don't contaminate the Merrimack River. So I'm not against taxes and fees, but I do raise the question, how much can we take? Real incomes, real salaries, adjusted for inflation, are way down. We've never fully recovered. Unless you're in the top 1%, you're a CEO with stock options getting a couple $1 billion a year at Chase Bank or something. But if you're not one of those people, and really there aren't too many who are, 99% of us are not, things are a little bit challenging. All right? When I was growing up, maybe a little social commentary here. When I was growing up, there was only one person who had to work. And the other parent stayed home with the children, made sure they got off the school bus or got on the school bus, as the case may be, and that they weren't getting into trouble or causing trouble or perhaps harming themselves. So we had one parent at home. One parent was the so-called breadwinner, and I grew up in a fairly nice neighborhood in a single-family home with 2 cars, and all that on just my father's salary. Now, this is not a commentary about who should stay home. I don't care whether it's the mother or the father, or they take turns. It doesn't really matter which one. But the point is that we used to be able to have a rather full life on one income. That is not possible anymore. And the kinds of jobs that are available, it used to be that if you didn't have too many skills, maybe just a high school diploma, you could still get a very good paying job with Western Electric, later known as AT&T, or Lucent, then Lucent Alcatel, and then finally, who knows, they're gone. It used to be that We had local utilities. You could work for Essex County Gas Company right there in Amesbury. Now that's part of National Grid. Consolidation has certainly added to our problems. And has your electric bill gone down, by the way, or your gas bill? Well, you were told that it would, that if we could only let one company, not to mention that it's a company in London, United Kingdom, one company could own all of the gas and electric utilities, that, well, we would just be saving so much money. Have you seen the savings, folks? Oh, sure, the utilities will argue, well, no, they don't control the commodity. They don't control the molecules of gas coming through the pipeline. They just do the delivery. Well, I don't know. They used to own some of the generation capacity, and then we had deregulation. We would, if we separated the electric generation from the company that distributed it, well, prices would just go way down. We would be having a new dawn of plenty. Has that happened to you? I don't know about you, but electric bill at the office is just astronomical. Really difficult to keep WHAV on the air, if I may be so bold. And of course, the bill's going to go up when the new FM station goes on the air at 97.9 FM. That's been granted by the Federal Communications Commission. So just a matter of the bill coming when that goes on the air, hopefully before the first snow. But then at home, you know, it replaced almost everything you can with the LEDs. Make sure things are unplugged. Make sure you turn out the light when you leave the room. But still, the bills are double what they were. How are we going to pay increases in water and sewer bills and property taxes with the electric rates going up and the gas bill going up? I just don't see how people are doing it. In Haverhill, anyway, Greater Haverhill. I don't think our surrounding communities are much wealthier. Andover, if I may be so bold to get into some more social commentary, you know, we may see some blue-collar crimes in Haverhill and Methuen, Sandown and Plastow. We may see some drug crimes. But have you noticed? Look at WHAV News. Just type in Andover into the search and look. The people who are stealing huge amounts of money, they live in Andover. Oh, so the white-collar crimes are Andover-driven. So don't go diminishing Haverhill or Methuen or Plastow or Sandown because we're not the wealthy communities. It looks like the wealthy ones, at least some of them, are stealing it. Maybe you have a thought on that. You'll have a chance to talk more about that after the news. Let me, for less than a minute, because we have to go to break. As tight as everything is, you're also being asked to contribute more. If you want a better community, then you have to. The Greater Haverhill Arts Association is looking for your help July 10th, 11th, and 12th at Whittier Birthplace in the barn. Maybe you want to buy some art. But I'll tell you that WHAV needs your help too. WHAV is a non-profit, non-commercial operation. No one is paid here except our news director, and who would argue that he's not paid very well. Bringing you the amount of news WHAV brings you daily, paying for local meteorologists to bring you accurate Merrimack Valley Haverhill-centric weather forecasts is expensive. And now, $50,000, that's the amount, $50,000 in legal bills to get the license for the new WHAV FM at 97.9. If you could help, everyone here, the entire community will be thankful to you. Visit WHAV.net. Either pick up a membership, $10 for students and seniors, $25 and up for everyone else, or contribute to the campaign. We call it Make Waves. Make Waves capital campaign to bring local news to FM. Tom Bergeron, who got his start right here at WHAV in 1972, is honorary chairperson. He's kicked off the campaign with a very generous contribution himself. Maybe you can help match that. Visit WHAV.net For more, you can also call in with your credit card. Chris will take the information during the break. We have forms here. If you want to make a contribution over the phone or you just want our mailing address, give Chris a call during the break, 978-374-1900. Okay, I still managed to be a little late for the break, so let's go to local news. Very important, local news, with News Director Dana Esma, lives right here in Haverhill. He'll help you with that. National news from FSN for balance, and of course, local weather with meteorologists based right here in the Merrimack Valley. That's why WHAV's weather forecasts are much more accurate than those Boston TV stations. Okay, a little bit of promotion, but could certainly use your help. If you can, please.
Open mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 8:03. WHAV Merrimack Valley. WHAV is a not-for-profit service of Public Media of New England Incorporated. It's heard on 1640 AM, the web, at whav.net, and participating cable television stations.
Here's what's happening in local news. A Haverhill resident has organized a, quote, community meeting scheduled Tuesday evening with the goal of creating a neighborhood association for the Acres section. Bianca Mercado, a member of the Community Affairs Advisory Board, a mother and a resident of the Acres since the age of 9, organized a meeting in, quote, collaboration from City Hall at 6 p.m. Tuesday at the Salvation Army Haverhill, 395 Main Street. Mercado told WHAV she seeks to bridge a, quote, disconnect within our residents and with neighbors old and new.
I have many intentions. One of them is for our neighbors to begin talking to our neighbors again. Put the neighbor back in neighborhood. That's what I say. I also want the community to be engaged within the community itself. There's many overdue conversations, that need to happen here in the Acre, but they're not going to happen if the residents don't talk to each other.
Mercado said the formation of a neighborhood association was a key recommendation in a 2009 survey and report by the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission. Mercado said city officials, including Mayor James J. Fiorentini and police representatives, will attend to, quote, hear us out and will be, quote, playing a supportive role of listening to the residents.
Last year I polled the neighborhood, and this year I've already gone around and distributed flyers. I've talked to many, many neighbors and told them, and so far all I've gotten is positive feedback. The neighbors are excited. They can't wait for this to happen. They think this is so overdue, and I'm very confident that there's going to be a big turnout.
For more details, visit whav.net. Haverhill water and wastewater customers are in line for rate increases if the Haverhill City Council approves a request as part of funding the new fiscal year's departmental budgets, also known as enterprise funds. On Tuesday night's agenda, councilors are asked to formally approve funding water and wastewater budget plans totaling nearly $8.1 million and nearly $9.4 million, respectively, through new user rates of $2.78 per 100 cubic feet for city water and $4.12 per 100 cubic feet for wastewater service. The current rates of $2.71 for water and $3.90 for wastewater have been in place since fiscal 2014. Other orders before the council include a total $388,000 in transfers from fiscal 2015 to replace carbon filters at the city's water treatment plant, according to Deputy DPW Director Robert E. Ward. As reported by WHAV, components including the water and wastewater departmental budgets bring the total operating budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st to $193.6 million. The Haverhill City Council meets at 7 p.m. Tuesday in council chambers at Haverhill City Hall. 3 Haverhill men are due to appear in district court after their arrest by police early Saturday in connection with a disturbance at an establishment in the Washington Street Historic District. According to Haverhill Police, Akeem Bedward, 26, of 72 Belvedere Road, Haverhill, Thomas Gilchrist, 29, of 51 Pilling Street, Unit 2, Haverhill, And Caletho Dezer, 25 of 440 North Avenue, Unit 272, Haverhill, were arrested at 1:42 a.m. Saturday at the Tap Brew Pub and Restaurant, 100 Washington Street. Each is charged with a single count of disorderly conduct. Police report the charge against Gilchrist as a subsequent offense. A Haverhill senior is due in court after his arrest Saturday on a warrant for fireworks and motor vehicle charges. Haverhill police report Benjamin Roderick, 74, of 65 River Street, Unit 2L, Haverhill, was taken into custody at 5:20 p.m. Saturday at 75 Portland Street. Under the warrant, he is charged with possession of fireworks, unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle, failure to signal, and a number plate violation. In other police news, a Haverhill man was arrested on a warrant early Saturday at the Holy Family Hospital at Merrimack Valley, 140 Lincoln Avenue, Haverhill. According to Haverhill Police, John Fosher, 65, of 37 Woodcock Avenue, Unit 22, Haverhill, was taken into custody at 3:55 a.m. Saturday on a warrant charging him with resisting arrest. Haverhill has a new smartphone app to help residents report potholes or file other complaints with city departments. The new, quote, mobile citizen app was announced Friday by Haverhill Mayor James J. Fiorentini. It may be downloaded to any Android or Apple smartphone. Residents may take photographs, add messages, and send them directly to the city department responsible for the request. Quote, we are always looking to make service requests easier for residents, and this new mobile app is the answer. Residents will be able to report potholes, tree issues, sidewalks, and many other infrastructure requests, Fiorentini said. Maint Star created the new app. It allows municipalities to better connect with citizens and gives residents an alternative method of notifying departments of non-emergency or potential problem conditions. The information includes the user's exact location. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and it's always free. In the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom, this is Dana Esmel.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Kevin McAleese. Standard & Poor's rating agency has cut Greece's credit grade by one notch as capital controls take effect across the country. The measures were put in place ahead of a referendum next week to determine whether Greece will accept another bailout and to stop depositors from draining Greek banks. Our Europe correspondent Sandra Gatzman reports.
The S&P ratings agency has downgraded Greece's credit status from CCC to CCC-, one notch further into so-called junk status. The agency says it now sees a 50% chance of Greece leaving the Eurozone ahead of a Sunday referendum, which will see Greek voters back or reject a current bailout proposal to save Greece from collapse. Meanwhile, the Greek government says it won't pay the IMF a €1.5 billion repayment on Tuesday, but investors say they're more worried about a July 20 deadline to pay the European Central Bank €3.5 billion, which, if not met, may mean the ECB will pull emergency funding and mark the start of a Greek exit from the euro.
The White House says talks in Vienna over the Iran nuclear deal are likely to extend beyond a Tuesday deadline. The US, UK, France, Russia, China and Germany are entering the final stages for a nuclear agreement with Iran in Vienna. World powers want a deal that will restrict Iran's nuclear activity, while the Islamic Republic is hoping crippling Western sanctions will be lifted. The US Supreme Court has ruled that a drug used to execute prisoners is legal under the Constitution. 3 prisoners on death row in Oklahoma argued the drug constituted cruel and unusual punishment. But as John Clark reports from Washington, the court has narrowly upheld the right of the state to use it.
In a narrow 5-4 ruling, it decided Oklahoma is allowed to use the sedative midazolam as part of a cocktail of execution drugs. Opponents claim midazolam doesn't create a deep enough coma to ensure prisoners don't feel pain when other lethal drugs are injected, but the majority of justices were satisfied it was powerful enough for the job. The case was watched closely because it followed several botched executions in which the condemned suffered excruciating pain before dying. International pharmaceutical companies have refused to allow their drugs to be used in American executions.
There will not be any sort of US federal bailout program for its territory, Puerto Rico, after the island's governor announced it cannot pay some $72 billion in municipal debts. White House spokesperson Josh Earnest said, however, that the US Treasury Department is working with Puerto Rican officials to help them manage the looming financial crisis.
There's no one in the administration or in D.C. that's contemplating a federal bailout of Puerto Rico. But we do remain committed to working with Puerto Rico and their leaders as they address the serious financial challenges that are currently plaguing the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. This is FSN.
Wave weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Gary Best with wave weather. It'll become partly cloudy to clear across the Merrimack Valley through the night. Low temperature upper 50s. During the day on Tuesday, mostly to partly sunny, a much nicer day. High temperature 75 to 80. Could be a stray shower Tuesday night. Low 60s then. And a shower or thunderstorm at times on Wednesday with occasional sun. High temperature 75 to 80. This is Gary Best. Your next wave weather is coming up in 30 minutes.
Listen to The Wave with fewer interruptions, no pop-ups, and the choice of players by tuning directly from www.whav.net.
WHAV, Merrimack Valley. Open mic.
From the Edwin B. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
And welcome back to the Open Mic Show. 13 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock, apparently. Nice late afternoon out there. We're beyond the time of peak daylight. We're now starting the other side where days will actually become shorter. Now that's rather depressing already. Coming up on the 4th of July weekend soon, so it's going to be quite a week. All right, folks, you have about a couple minutes to call in a birthday wish or a couple a happy anniversary wish. We have only 3 entries, I think, in the hat for July birthdays and anniversaries, so the odds are very, very good for those who are already there. But here's your last chance, 978-374-1900. Okay, is the call on your side? All right, so you are on the Open Mic Show.
Oh, I'm on?
You are on. I haven't heard from you in a while.
No, hey, God bless Barbara Anderson.
Oh, were you listening to my commentary about taxes?
Well, you know, Tim, that affected me. I worked for the city in 1981, and I lost my job.
Oh, okay, during
know
Proposition 2.5.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's Barbara Anderson. And, if we didn't have Proposition 2.5, sky's the limit on the taxes.
Well, that's true. I guess I'm sorry that you lost your job.
No,
though.
but you know what, Tim, I got it back. I stayed on the list. I went back to the water department, and fortunately for me, I stayed for 2 years at the water, and then I left altogether in '85. But it was pretty sad. We were all sitting down, and the bunch of us were going to get laid off. And when the mayor was talking to us, and we're all down at City Hall, I'm not going to mention his name, but well, in the meantime, they just hired the ex-mayor of Lawrence to come work full-time for the city of Haverhill, and we're all losing our jobs, and we're all Haverhill guys.
Oh, this is back when Buckley took over.
Oh, you remember Buckley anyway.
I was a reporter then, and so that means you won't say it, but I will. Late Mayor Tom Bathalli was
I like Tom.
in office.
I like Tom.
I liked him too, and when he moved from Broadway, he lived right next to me.
I know where he lived. He used to invite us over when we were out in the streets cleaning the catch basins. Come on in, boys.
Actually, I think it was Lowell Avenue, right?
So, yeah, but I don't blame him. He had to do what he did. Well, that's right. But anyway, there's a lot going on in my mind. I should have wrote a lot down, but I've got a trivia. But let me talk about Nate Webster. He did a great job, and I don't know if you saw the article Nate wrote in the Sunday paper on NASCAR.
No, it was in the Sunday paper?
Yeah, it was a big article.
Oh, I didn't know that. So he's moved on to newspaper
I'm pretty
work.
sure it was Sunday paper. Big,
wow.
almost the whole page.
Congratulations to former WHAV Open Mic Show producer Nate Webster. I somehow missed that.
Chris has got you down to a queue, huh, on the news?
You mean keeping me on time?
Yeah,
You should
well,
see.
he said
You should.
I had to wait 13 minutes. I says, I'll wait, because I haven't been on in a while, and I figured Jerry might call. I hope he's feeling okay.
All right, well, you keep up on the regulars. Thank you.
Yeah, well, and I hope he's okay. And I was thinking about the taxes, wastewater and the water. I don't have either one, so I'm fortunate. I have my own well, and I have a septic, but I have to pay for the maintenance of them. So that's another. I don't know. I would like to have. I'd like to have water up here.
City
I'd like
water.
to have sewer up here too, Crystal Lake. I'd like. It'd be nice.
Yeah, I'm actually considering where you're located. It seems to me at some point they need to bring sewer so that there's no chance of contamination from.
That's right.
From
I think eventually. Let's see. What else I want to talk about? The taxes. Yeah, the taxes, and let's see. Oh, the trivia question. Let me get that out there.
All right, so this is a trivia question from Kimball Tavern Antiques, corner of Salem and South Main Streets in Haverhill. You've had some real tough ones this year, but people have won.
This is a tough one. They're going to have to do some research. It has to do with bowling. So if Marcel's listening...
Another famous bowling question.
That's right. We don't like to make them too easy, but come on over and visit us. Kimball Tavern is either the second or third oldest house in the city of Haverhill, and it's quite a place. Jim, have you been in?
Yes, actually, I stopped by. I guess I need to stop by again. I stopped by during the great construction projects in Bradford.
There you go. I mean, you're talking about this house was there before the Revolution, and we're coming up on the 4th of July. I just hope everybody's safe. You don't know what's going on in the world today. We don't know where it's going to happen or what these people are thinking about.
No, you're absolutely right.
But it's not good, whatever it is. But we got to stick together, and I'm going to give a trivia question here. There was two bowling alleys in Haverhill, and one of them was the Elite bowling alleys, and I want to know who owned the Elite bowling alleys for most of the time, and I gave Chris the answer. And when that bowling alley shut down, where did the alleys go to? They went somewhere in Haverhill.
Oh, actually, I think I know the answer to this too.
Well, that's part of it, and the other one is who owned the city alleys, Haverhill City Lane alleys, and and where did those alleys go?
All right, so who owned
the bowling alleys, Elite and City?
City Lanes.
City Lanes and Elite Lanes.
Right.
And who owned them? And you don't have, on the Elite, the guy had a nickname for his last name. You don't have to. I can't remember his first name. But the other one, you got to give me his name, and you got to tell me where those alleys. Obviously, those lanes went to another bowling alley, right?
This is a great. This is a great one. So okay, it's two parts, but two similar parts.
Yeah.
There were two bowling alleys. Yeah. One was Elite, and when that closed, well, first of all, who owned it? And when that closed, where did the physical lanes go? And City Lanes, similar. Who owned it, and where did those lanes go? And it's okay to give the nickname for Elite.
Elite, yeah. I mean, it's all part of history for Haverhill.
All right, I think I know one of them because I'm not going to give it away.
Don't let Marcel know.
No, I'm not going to let anyone know because I might be wrong.
So if you've never been over to Kimball Tavern and you want to see an old house, or you want to see one of the oldest houses in Haverhill, come on over. We've been told
it's very well maintained.
Actually, some of the carrying beams and the eaves are a part of a ship they took apart.
Really?
You know, those big ships, they didn't all go back to England.
Oh.
They took them apart, and come visit the old schoolroom there. It's got that was moved down. It was down by Carter's. It was moved to Kimball Tavern, I'd say 150 years ago. It's got the old Indian shutters.
All right, so Kimball Tavern Antiques, corner of Salem and South Main Streets in Bradford. Very well maintained. The birthplace of Bradford College. And
that's right. 1883, I believe. That sound right?
1803, right?
Oh, 1803, I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah,
right,
you're
that's
right.
right.
1803, yeah.
All right, I remember the old Bradford College signs that used to be
I
outside.
had the 18 and the 3 right.
All right, so, and you can win a $10 gift certificate if you can answer the trivia question. And
What else has been going on?
Not too much, really. We're just working on getting our new FM tower up.
When's that going to take place?
Well, I'm, I hate to have to keep pushing it back, but we're now looking at maybe before first snowfall. And let me tell you what the real issues are. Is that we had to make an agreement with a competitor, so neither one of us could go to the tower at Silver Hill. So we had to move east where there are no towers. So we have to put one up.
Whereabouts? Where are you thinking?
All right. Well, until we sign a lease, I'd rather not say.
Okay,
but
that's okay.
It'll be near Northern Essex Community College.
Well, you couldn't put one up the castle.
That is very insightful of you. That is where we wanted to be, but the powers that be say no.
Wow.
Everything else in the city is up for lease or sale to bring money into the city, but our money's not welcome, I guess.
That's too bad.
But that would have helped. But here's the biggest problem: the biggest cost of putting up a new tower is not to mention putting up the structure, but bringing electricity to it, and it's something like 1,500 feet of power lines that are going to have to be buried, and transformers and the whole bit. No one will ever even see this. This is going to be so well contained. It'll be a real asset to how we preserve the environment.
That's what I like to hear.
But it's just a big cost.
Another thing I was thinking, I like the idea of the gentleman talking about ward councilors. There's nobody up in his village that's on the council, and
well, that's a good point. Actually, we have something on the news today, and I mentioned this last week, that an possible alternative to the push and pull of ward councilors would be good neighborhood associations, and there's something on our news today about
I heard it.
the acre. But you're right. Who is out fighting for the Crystal Lake area?
Well, I know what. Let's see. I know that. I know Bill Masick does have a relative on Broadway. So.
Well, I have to say, Bill Masick came up last week. I would say that he truly is a city-wide councilor.
Well, they all say, yeah.
But he's, not to diminish anyone else, because I'd have to go through the list to see who does what.
Well, he mentioned his mother's. He runs his mother's house on night there, which I know. I don't really with his mother. I grew up with Bill, and he does have an uncle Uncle Joe, out the end of Liberty out here. And,
no, Bill.
That's okay.
But that's one person, and
that's right.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
And I did hear about the neighborhood associates, which we did have that years ago. I don't know if it did anything. I remember it. You remember
Well, I will tell you that when the first Acre Neighborhood Association was out there, isn't that when the streets were really cleaned up? New sidewalks went in, new street lighting. People started fixing up their houses with that investment.
I think Roger Lemire was on that was involved with that.
It may very well be. And the neighborhood associations used to be pretty strong, but maybe this brings us back to what I was saying earlier. People are too busy trying to get enough money to pay their taxes, water, and sewer bills.
Well, I'll be. I'm retired, but I still drive school bus. And this was a long year. We just got done last Wednesday. 6 days overdue.
Oh, that's right, because of the terrible winter we had.
And then I also worked Friday, so they called me. You want to go move some buses? I said, sure. You want to go to Drake It? I'll go to Drake It. I'll go to whatever they want me to do. I'm available, Tim.
All right. I think we'll probably skip our community spotlight break this hour.
Oh, we missed that. Sorry.
No, that's okay, because I really wanted to talk with you. And,
well, that's good. I like talking. This was good. I haven't been on in a while, and
no, we were kind of wondering.
Everybody has a safe 4th.
Well, that's a very good idea. Everyone should have a safe 4th. There will be fireworks, July 3rd. You can find out more at whav.net.
Tim, I just want to say, I know that you were talking a couple of weeks ago about Great Britain, but you mentioned a few things. My mom was from England, and I just wanted to mention this, that we don't know how close this country is from flying a Union Jack. Do we really know? If you go back in history,
I know
it was pretty close.
We could easily have lost the revolution.
Sure, we could have. I think it had something to do with the Delaware.
What was I saying about England? Was something good or bad?
Well, it was about United Kingdom, the Brits. Well, I understand.
I just wish they didn't. I just wish they didn't own National Grid. Other than that, I could forgive them for everything.
Well, I mean, we could point the finger at a lot of countries over the years. You know, I mean, the Romans came into Europe and they were taking no prisoners. You know, and Julius Caesar came into England, and if you go to Chester, England, you'll see where the Roman walls and the forts, the Roman walls in Chester, England.
Well, actually, I visited England several times, and I have to say, what is very interesting was going to Bath, where the Roman baths were, and of course, it's still hot water there. The ruins have been kind of rebuilt, not accurately, but
Chester has the big walls. That was the fortress where the cars go underneath the wall, they drive underneath the big, huge walls, and they got small cathedrals there. It's like, what do you think you're in Italy?
No, it is. It's interesting how the Romans really did almost take over the world.
Well, it's you remember that song, Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Oh, that's a great song, actually.
Right? England wanted to do it. Great Britain, they wanted to do it. Hitler wanted to do it. Now, different people, the Japanese wanted to do it. Russia, you know.
No, good points, good points.
Well, anyway, I hope everybody has a safe 4th of July, and let's not forget our forefathers that came and fought for us. You know, they were persecuted in England, and they ended up over here, so...
No, absolutely. That's a good time to remember why there is a 4th of July holiday. We won a revolution. We created a new kind of democracy. My fear is that we're on the verge of losing it, but maybe we'll try to end on a higher note than that.
Okay, we can't forget the Beatles. Revolution.
That's right. That was a different revolution, and the invasion of the 60s. And you know what's funny? I've got to call them kids, and I hope I don't offend anyone. You know, when you look at the list, that kids' list of their favorite music, they'll list all kinds of stuff you and I have never heard of.
Oh, I know.
But they still list the Beatles.
Yeah, I was with my grandson a little bit today, and...
Oh, you know what I mean, then?
Oh, yeah. Pop, what's that? Who's that, Pop? He says, let me put my station on. I says, okay. I'll let him put it on, and, you know, we can talk. All right, I'll let you go, and Marcel's got to do a little homework.
All right, very good. We'll repeat that question one more time for a $10 gift certificate to Kimball Tavern Antiques. There was a bowling alley named E-Light. Who owned it? Nickname is okay. And when that closed, where did the alley parts go? And there was City Lanes. And who owned that? And when it closed, where did its parts go? $10 gift certificate. Call next week, 978-374. All right, yeah, I guess we're out of time. Well, thank you very much.
Query's coming on, something about law.
That's right. So,
all right.
All right, good night.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right, that'll wrap up another open mic show. Did we ever pull the hat? No, give me the hat. My goodness, you're supposed to remind me of that, producer. All right, so now we didn't even tell people who it was. All right, and the winner, Jackie. Jackie, when did this come in? Probably a while back. So Jackie is the winner of the July birthday cake winner. All right, so Jackie, you'll get something in the mail from WHAV. Hope you enjoy your free 7-inch cake from LBD's second-generation Italian bakery. This hour of Open Mic was brought to you by the Merrimack Valley Economic Development Council. Smart companies. Choose the Merrimack Valley. Have a great night.
Join Tim Coco live on the Open Mic again next Monday night at 6:30. The opinions expressed on the Open Mic Show are not necessarily those of WHAV, its underwriters, or affiliated stations. The Open Mic Show came to you from the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom.
It's 8:31. Try listening to WHAV in your car or anywhere on your mobile phone. For fast access, visit WHAV.net.